Now then YouTube, you've caught me on this beautiful, again, lockdown day. I've been quite busy, but I thought I'd kind of film the rest. Basically, I've been up to taking the subframe off my Focus, the rear one, because it's had quite a lot of surface rust on it and I've been needing to do it for a while. You can just about tell how much shit's fell off. So I'm just basically at the minute cleaning up and just making everything look pretty. So yeah, here it is, painted all back together. I do need to wipe that clean because I've still not wiped it clean. I should have done when it was off, but for the most of it, it's all pretty. All de-rusted, all de-shittified, and then painted. Basically I've used just like a normal black metal paint with this stuff, and then with the actual main subframe I put etch primer on, like 4 coats of etch primer when I got it right down to metal, and then a couple of coats of hammerite, and it's really solid, it's really smooth, and it looks 10 times better than it did before. So I painted the springs as well, so they're dry now. Just the same black metal paint, nothing fancy. And I did the underneath as well, which looks a hell of a lot better. There's still a few things I need to do, like give the fuel tank a bit of a clean, because that's minging. But for the most of it, all the surface rust is off, because it used to look like that mostly. I've not done that one yet, but once I've wipe brush that one down, I'll give that a quick lick of paint. But yeah, it's looking alright. So yeah, basically today's job is basically to get the subframe back on, get all the brakes back on, clean the shocks up, get the shocks back on, and order some new pads because I fucked them ones. So yeah, keep us updated. So yeah, for those of you that don't know yet, I put the front bumper back on. I use these quick release jobbies, which are really quite good. That make the bumper, taking the bumper off a lot easier. And I also added like a side skirt extension. You can tell there. Again, just a little bit of 12mm ply. Makes the car look a lot better. I don't know if it does anything downforce wise, but there's not much weight added to it, so whatever. The fueling system is now fully complete with the new braided hose, which it doesn't smell of fuel anymore, which is nice. And that's running a deadhead system, which is now running 3.5 bar pressure once I turn it on. Other than that, there's not really much more to update you with, but I'll get onto this subframe and then I'll try and do a video on that sort of thing. I struggle to find a position to put you, but I'm sure I'll do something, so I'll keep you updated. Just giving these a wipe for now, because there's a lot of shit up there. Look better, don't they? It shall do. Okay, as you can tell, I've got a couple more bits to do underneath here before I actually put the subframe back on. I think it does need another coat because you can still see bits, especially on the wheel arches bits there. They definitely need another coat, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'll also clean up the fuel tank a little bit, make that look pretty, and then we'll go from there, but it's a lot better than it was. Painful, but I know it's going to be worth it in the end, because once the subframe's back up there, it shouldn't rust, at least for a while, because when I do drive this car I hardly ever drive it in the wet anyway, so. This subframe's never been taken off, so in the 20 years that it's been on the road, shit's just collected on it. And it didn't look great, so the whole idea was literally just to paint the underneath of it, but one thing led to another. And I think I just decided, sod it, I can't be arsed. I'll just take the subframe off and paint it with the subframe. Off, because I'll be able to get to things a lot easier. Okay, so after a bit of faffing, the subframe is now up. I've had a second coat of that on. Again, it looks a lot better. Cleaning the fuel tank up, you can't really see it in a minute, but for the most of it, the subframe is back on and it looks absolutely awesome. Should have done it earlier. Just love how clean it looks in the light. So anyway, I'm going to put the 6, 7, 8 bolts back in. All in different places. Like one of them's there, one of them's there, so one of them there, one of them there. There's a couple more at the back where the trailing arms go. And then yeah, I'll be able to put the brakes back on, shocks, springs back on, wheels back on, and drop it on the floor. So I'll keep you updated again. Okay, so here's one of the first of the bolts. I'm making sure that I copper grease literally every single thing that I put back in, so if I do have to take it off at a later date, at least it'll be easy. Huh? Talking to the camera, Baba. Okay, so we've got one bolt there, just under the spring. Second one is here. The third one is quite a sneaky one. Just about see it through the subframe. Where is it? Where's the camera? There. See it just through the subframe there. And two more are just where the trailing arm bushes are, just there. So I'm going to bolt them up now. Okay then guys, so all the subframe bolts are now in. The trailing arm bolts aren't quite in, the springs aren't in, but subframe is back on the car now, and I think it's looking absolutely fantastic. Yeah, quite an easy job changing the subframe, to be fair, seeing as I don't think this has ever been off the car. It all came off really, should I say too easy, but happy with the result, I'm glad I've done it, definitely recommend it. Okay, so the next job is get the shocks on, then the trailing arm bushes, and the calipers and the brakes, and then the wheels. Okay, so the suspension on the Estates is slightly different to the hatches. Basically, the suspension on the shocks on the Estate, sorry, they go from the normal place at the bottom of the wishbone but instead of going through the cab, they actually bolt onto this like upper subframe. So obviously it's a bit more tricky to buy shocks for the estate, purely because not many people actually do it up, but it's really hard to adjust as well if you do get the good shocks, just because of that. You can probably go through the body and do it that way, but I don't know. But for now, anyway, just thought I'd let you know the estate shocks are slightly different to the patch ones on the Focus. Right then guys, that side is done, so I'll be doing this side with you. So the first thing I need to do is get the shock in, so it's that hole there and this hole here. Okay, before I put the bottom bob for the shock in, you want to put the spring back on. Otherwise it'll be a fight trying to get that in. Hey baby. Okay, with this, because it's compressed, you'll want the jack to press this bit up, just so you can get this bush in. You're on some rocks. Okay, so the bush is now in the hole, basically. I'll be putting the bolt in. Just swap my hammer. So it goes all the way in. Because I've changed it, I've got a nutted and bolted, but sometimes there's a captive nut on these wishbones. Because I've changed the wishbones, it doesn't come with a captive nut. So I think mine's a 17 and a 15. Should be able to get rid of the jack actually. Might be a 90. Yeah, 18. so the spring's in. Time to get that shock in. So the shock bolt is there. So basically you got to manoeuvre it a little bit, so push it all the way up and then it swings itself around into the hole and you get your copper grease bolt, shove it in. Next on the list is just to tighten everything that you undid. So I undid everything. So I'm going to put this back on before putting the subframe back on because I thought it'd be easier. It's quite cheap. So that's in now. Nice and tight. And last but not least, the trailing arm bush, which is just in there. These do take a bit of fettling because they kind of almost like stretch into place, so you kind of got to stretch the bolt in and bring it round. Okay, so that one's in but not fully tight, so I'll do the same with the other one because as you can tell, I don't know if you can see, but the thread is miles out, so you kind of pull it in a little bit. So I won't top that one up just yet. Okay, so they're on. Next on the list is the brake calipers. Okay, so the last thing to do is stick the brake calipers on. I'm not putting the pads in just yet because I know they're broke, and by broke I mean this bit's missing. It's supposed to be like a little spring that kind of sits like that. And there, basically when I took them off I was a bit of a rough old boy and ripped it off with it. So more for me, but I need to get new pads. So the first thing I need to do is stick this onto the carrier on the hub. So I've stuck the disc on, and basically you put the carrier on and screw onto it with these two holes here. So I'll do that dead quick. The right way might help. So yeah, obviously this bit wants to be inside into the disc. So do it the right way first, that might help. So again, I've copper greased them just because I like everything coming off nice and easy. When I want it to, that is. So yeah, it's just two 13mm. So they're nice and tight. Obviously the next thing would be to put the caliper on, or put the pads on first, like this. Let's do it as a demonstration. So I usually put some copper grease on the slider bits, but next thing would be to put the pads on, like this, he says. Tight. There we go, so put the pads on so the pads are on there. And then put the caliper on top of the pads when the piston has been pushed all the way back. So when I get new pads, I've got a tool that I'll show you. This tool here, it's one of the fitments, can't remember which one, I think it's that one. But you kind of put that onto the caliper, and then this bit goes onto the, like so, and you kind of wind it like that, and it winds the piston back into where it needs to be if you've got new pads. So I'll be doing that before I fit the new pads, but for now I'm just going to leave it as is, and probably put the caliper on just without the pads for the time being, just so I can put the wheel on and rest it for a while, and when the pads do come, which is whenever I guess, put a video, if you want me to, up on how to change rear pads, but it's a pretty easy job to be fair. But for the main of it, it is on. And doesn't it look so much better? Yeah, I'm happy with the results. All the arches are done, all the undersides are done, subframe's done. So good. But yeah, if you like the video, let us know. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll update you on the next video, which will probably be the brake pads if you're interested. So let us know. Okay, have a nice day. Bye. Stay safe.